So I'm still waiting for a few bits and pieces for the XJC, and yeah, I thought I would take this opportunity to show you the new project in the garage. So I couldn't resist, it's another V12. So you're watching TP's Diary, I'm Tom, and now I'm going to show you my new Daimler Double Six. So here we are, this is my 1989 Daimler Double Six. Yeah, it's obviously it's a Series 3. It's basically an XJ6 Series 3, and it's come home from Japan. And this car has been extremely well looked after over the years. I mean, the only faults that I can really, well, apart from the general maintenance stuff, you know, there's no rust on it at all. Absolutely no rust anywhere that I can find, apart from sort of small bits of surface rust, which is quite incredible for one of these. And the other part, the fault it's got is it's been loved so much that in patches, the paint's been polished through to the undercoat, so that's a bit of a bore. But apart from that, there's no rust in it at all. This engine here has got it's got the Lucas Opus system, which is a bit different to the XJC, which has got the J-tronic, the Bosch J-tronic system in it. It still has the I think it's the General Motors 400 3-speed slush box, and I need to look at that as well. So there's a few jobs that I need to do on this car before really I can drive it in anger. One of those is the brake master cylinder is going to need to be changed, so I'm going to do that in this video. The reason for that is if you're sitting at a set of lights, the pedal slowly starts going to the floor, which is a bit of a bore. Yeah, I discovered that in, let's say it was a bit of a hairy moment. Anyway, so I've got a new master cylinder to go in it. I could have done a seal kit and all of that, but I just thought I'd put a new master cylinder to it. The other thing is the what's it called? The ignition amplifier. I need to change that, and I first noticed that because the rev counter stopped working, so I need to change that. And there's other little bits and pieces. There's a couple of boots. The tires are all shot, so I've got some new tires for it. So yeah, there's a few jobs I need to do. So today, I think what I'll do is I'll try and get the ignition amplifier changed, and also that brake master cylinder done. But then I can take it down the road and I can show you. Really, I mean, it just puts a smile on my face. It's so silky smooth, this car. Drives a bit different to the coupe, mainly because the coupe's had a load of suspension work done, whereas this hasn't, so it's a bit floaty. But I quite like that, you know, it's 4-door. Yeah, so this one, I don't know what the plan is for it yet, but you know, after the XK 150 was sold, I couldn't resist when I saw this one. So let's go on and get that master cylinder changed. Right, so this is the ignition amplifier. I've already had a go at the terminals on it because I thought maybe the terminals were the ones that were failing. This is the sort of the new reproduction one. It's the new reproduction one. Okay. I'm rather hoping that's going to be fairly obvious how that all goes back together. It should be relatively straightforward in terms of, so those two little plugs pull off. Okay. Then that one, and then that one, and that's it away. Now, one of the connectors is slightly different. That's no problem. Put that there for the moment. Those connectors are different as well. Oh, good. So I would suggest so that one there is for the tacho. I know that. So I think it is that one. So those two are obvious. And they go on like that. Then the white cable, that one. So you go on there, like that. And I would say, look at that. That cable is about to snap. And that is almost broken through. So I'm going to cut that cable back a little bit. Let's just undo you. Myself a little bit of taking out like that. Okay. Not happy. Yeah. This is the problem. I mean, just look how that brittle that cable was. Right. Let's give us a. So that it seems quite flexible, sort of here. So let's cut him off like that. Let's cut him off like that. Okay. We're fully committed now, and I need to go and get a bullet. Now I seem to have lost my really good wire strippers, so that's a bit annoying. But let's just see if I can. Yeah. No. Still very fragile. My knife. I wonder if I'm going to be lucky enough to be able to solder these buggers together. Let's just try. I mean, that's definitely got it. So a little bit of drip on the side then. Let's just chop him off. It's not the neatest, but it will work. I want that to be about there. Okay, let's get the heat gun out. Okay. Now I know some people use the soldering iron to do heat shrink. I don't like to do that. I think it makes a bit of a crap job. I have tried it, so I think we want. So one of those. Nope. Okay, that's a bit boring because I don't have the right one. So I need to cut both ends off. So let's take one of those and one of those. Take that one. Oh, blimey. They're tough. Okay. So, what now? Come under here, like that. Like that. Okay. Okay. Now, put you back. Okay, so that's that. That's that cable. So all I have to do now is switch that over for a spade. And that. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. You go on there like that. So let's just. So how confident am I that I've got all these connections right? Bloody boring if I haven't, and I'll blow it up. I'll tidy that up in just a second. Okay, fingers crossed. I hope it starts. Let's have a look. Fantastic. Okay, so that starts, which is good. And we got a tacho. Just before I do anything else, let's just tidy these wires up. Okay, that's that first job done. So fragile, these old wiring looms. They really are. That's that. Okay, so so exactly what I did before on the other carb, on the XJS, funnily enough. I want to just check before I suck all the fluid out. I want to just check to see what the moisture content in this fluid is. Okay, so now, according to the guy I bought this from, it's had a new master cylinder. Brake servo. It does look new. So there's my little tester. So I'm going to set it on .4. Whack that in there. So this is 4% moisture content. Bollocks. That means I'm going to have to flush the entire system. That's boring. So, okay, that's another job. So, well, if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen. So let's get this master cylinder out. This wind's a pain because it keeps blowing my thing off. Okay. So have I got the right spanner? Yeah, that one fits on there. No. So all that. Yep, okay. That's you. Yeah. Right, so I've managed to undo both of those brake lines, which is good. Just going to get a spanner to take off those two nuts there, and then we'll probably be ready to pull it out. So yes. So it's got two chambers in this reservoir, and I'm going to remove the front pipe first, because I have a feeling the back one's going to start pouring fluid everywhere, which I'm going to have to try and mop up. Let's just take this one off first, and then we'll see how we get on. Okay, that's that one loose, and this one's finger tight, which is nice. Okay, that's that one loose. All right, if I get my finger over it. Okay. Amazingly, I managed to do it without pouring fluid everywhere. So let's take this into the workshop. So this is the new master cylinder. So what we need to do now is take this reservoir off, which actually still got a bit of fluid in it. Take you out, and let's just. So we need to swap a couple of bits over. First of all, there's this rubber seal on it. Looks a little bit worse for wear. However, we can use that. It's pretty easy to change. Little clips on the side. There are obviously pins holding it in. I have to admit, I've never actually done one of these before, but on a Jaguar anyway. I mean, I've done this. I've done this job a few times. Okay, let's. Now I figure. There's one. Good. Okay. And then now, theoretically, yeah, there we are. That just pulls off. So, what I'm going to do now is I want to clean that up. There we go. Right. Just going to use a bit of brake and carb cleaner. Okay, that'll do. So let's now put you in, but tempted to use a bit of rubber grease on there. Now I've never done this before, so please comment. I'm just going to put just a little bit of rubber grease around here. Can't hurt really, can it? Help that just slip on. So you now should fit in like not easily. I think it's actually in there. It's not very convincing though. Yeah, I think that's in. Okay, so I want the pins. That's 1, 2. So now push those back on. Okay, that's the reservoir done. Let's now get this back in. Or in, shall I say. Let's just, I'll tell you what, might be easier. Just get those started. Yeah, just take you out. And that. Okay, so that now fits in like that. Don't need that massive washer anymore. Just need those washers. Okay. That is that in. Let's just do these pipes up. And do the last one. Okay. Right, so that is the master cylinder changed. Next, we have to bleed the brakes. So we're going to, and I'm going to pull all the fluid out before I do that as well, because obviously it was 4% and we can't have that. So let's get on with that. That's the next job. Let's get on with that now. Okay, so we got the brakes bled now, and I've got a new set of Broccoli's on the car, so that's all good news. I had to bleed the brakes in the old sort of school way with somebody pumping the throttle, so I can put a caption in there when I did that on the XK150. Down. Keep it. Remember that you press it to the floor and leave it at the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, sit down.
Yeah, it's down.
Okay, up. There's still a couple of other jobs that I'd like to do, and I'm just going to show you what they are now. One of them is to adjust the throttle bodies, and the other is I just want to change the diff oil because I don't know what's going on there. So if I just show you quickly what I'm talking about. So we've got the throttle linkages here, obviously coming from the center part there. With these rods. What I would like to do is and I'll show you I've got a spare throttle body in the workshop, so I can just show you what I want to do just to check the adjustment on these. I can show you on the one I've got in the workshop, which is a bit easier. However, this side is not too bad. This linkage is held in just with like a rubber grommet here. And these, I've done this on the coupe. This is these tend to sort of go, so I've actually got a little nylon one to go in there. This side's not so bad, whereas this side you can see is completely, I don't know if I can get that. Let me just go this with my hand this way. You can see it is all over the place. So you know that's going to be affecting sort of throttle response. You know, and things like that, and certainly the balance between bank A and bank B. So it's always good to try and get these adjusted as best as you can. So I'm going to change those. This is a spare throttle body I've got, and it sort of goes into the cart like that. So this one I think is the driver's side one, I believe, because it's got the vacuum kick down on it. Anyway, so basically what you do is you take a feeler gauge, and this one here is a 0.1 millimeter, and I think in the book it says it's got to be 0.104, I believe. Anyway, for the earlier models and sorry, for the later models like that is. So that car is a 1989 Series 3. So the earlier one, sort of like the coupe, it's got a different measurement. It's slightly bigger, I believe. Anyway, but if you're not sure, look in the book. But for basically what we have to do is to set the butterfly valve, is put a feeler gauge in there, and and so when you pull it back, it's got to slide through. So essentially you just adjust this adjustment screw like that. So basically now I've adjusted it so that will go in and out easily. Whereas if you do it on the bottom one, so in other words where the butterfly is closing, then it makes life a bit easier. If you try and do it, I mean, when it's in the car, it's easier to sort of stick it in the top, because they're sort of sitting at an angle facing downwards and you can't really see. So it's quite easy to do it at the top. But if you do it on the bottom, it's easier to adjust it, because basically if you get it wrong and that's screwed all the way in, the feeler gauge gets stuck. So so you just put it in the bottom, close the top of it, and just gently pull. You can start seeing it moving like now. Yeah, so just adjust it a little bit, and then that is the correct adjustment for the throttle body. So now let's go and do it for real in the car. But I think, to be honest, it's quite a hot day today, so I think I'm actually going to do the diff first. So yeah, let's get that done. That's all cleaned up now, so just put a bit of fresh PTFE tape around it. Okay, I think that's tight enough. Right, next we need to fill it up. So let's grab the oil. This is a lot easier when I got it on the ramp, that's for sure. Okay, that's it. Okay, it is now coming out. So let's now get the drain plug, put him in. Right, so that's the diff filled up with oil, with fresh oil. So now let's crack on, and I suppose, yeah, that was a bit harder than I was expecting, but it, problem is I'm on the drive, which, I've unfortunately I've been spoilt by having a ramp now. So but yeah, the coupe's on the ramp, so there's not much I can do about that. So anyway, so let's press on and get and start doing and sorting out all of that, those throttle bodies. So I've just got a bit of tidying up to do, and then we'll go and do that. Right, so first job we're going to do is I'm just going to change the little bush and get this bit back within tolerances. So let's get this off. So okay, that's the sort of ambient air temperature sensor. The air filter out, the airbox. Right, first thing we got to do is for all of this is actually just disconnect the linkage, pull them out like that. Okay, so now it's independent of everything, and I just want to cut this bit off. Okay, so that is that bit off. So all these are just sort of little nylon fittings that go in there with a couple of spring washers. So it has a spring washer in one side to keep the tension, And then the other side just has a little clip that you can just push in. So that just slots over there and through that hole there. And then all you do is push them in a bit further, and then that little bucket, that little thing, slots in there. Like that. And that's it. So now there's no play in that at all. So, and it's a very straightforward, easy fix. I bought this from a guy on eBay. I mean, to be honest, they're pretty straightforward, and I could have made them myself, but I couldn't see the point. Why invent the wheel? So let's just check. Okay, I think that's okay. Right, so what we want to do now is put our feeler gauge in. Oh, hold on, careful. Don't want any of that crap in there. All right, put our feeler gauge in there. Huh. Okay. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, which is fantastic. So let's get all of this back together now, and we can then do the other side. So I would suggest that actually needs to be adjusted. If I put that on, it's going to pull it out. There we go. That's it. So I think that was just one turn. Just do that lock nut up again. There we go. So, right, next is to do the other side. That one's okay too. So that's maybe they were done when in the service. I don't know. Right, so that can go back in now, and that one looks okay. So okay, let's get all the tools off. I think that's idling a bit quick. Well, there you go. Yeah, those mods have worked quite well. Obviously, the new ignition amplifiers all in. I hope you like the new car, the new V12 to the channel. That's sort of the introduction done, really. And now I've done the small jobs that I feel happy now I can take this down the road. The idle's still idling a bit high, and I can't adjust it on the idle screw, which would suggest that there's a vacuum leak somewhere, or one of the auxiliary valves stuck or something like that. So I need to do a bit more investigating on that. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, please do hit that like button. and subscribe, which is completely free. So, you know, so do subscribe and you get notifications and all the stuff coming up. Yeah, if any of you know what some of these bits and pieces that I'm not quite sure about at the moment, please give me a comment. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.